Welcome back, builders. I hope you're excited to build the Heavy today. Before we get started, you are not going to want to miss the mini-movie at the end of this video, where legendary LEGO Fortnite builder Mad Puck builds and pilots a TIE fighter to face off against my Stingray. On screen now are the materials needed for this build, and you'll also need a level 10 village in the frost biome to unlock the frostpine floorings needed for this build. Now let's get into this. Since all of the flooring in this build is ancient flooring, I'm going to simply call it flooring from here on out to avoid saying ancient like 500 times. First, place a small vehicle jack down, then snap together two wide floor 2s. Place two floor 3s on top of the wide floor base and as far forward as you can. Then snap two more in a row on the back of the wide floor base. Get out thin floor 4, line it up lengthwise on top of the forward wide floor 2, and nudge it outward until you can place. Then add 5 more to make this 3x2 configuration. Select floor 1. Center it in the middle of the thin floors and nudge it outward as far as you can and place. Snap two thin floor 3s to either side. Then you're going to place 3 stacks of 7 thin floor 1s on top of these thin floor 3s. The first stack is flush with the front edge. The second stack is flush with the floor 1 edge here in the middle. And the third stack hangs off the back thin floor by 2 nodes. Now repeat everything you just did for the other side. Now, time to build out the roof. Line up a thin floor 4 on top of the front stack of thin floor 1s. Nudge inward 1 and place. Then repeat 2 more times to create a curvature. Then snap 2 more thin floor 4s inward. Repeat this pattern once more for the back half. And now repeat all of these roof steps on the other side. Now that the curvature is done, line up a wide floor 2 evenly on top of the 2 curved walls such that it overlaps each side by only 1 node. Snap another to the back and then snap 2 more floor 3s to the back of that one. Now it's time to do the front of the ship, which will require directional building. If you haven't done this type of building before, it's very easy to understand, and I'll show you how to do it. Go and grab resources from a later stage to build a single small thruster. Place it on the front bottom of the ship. Then select a medium fender and aim your focal point right at the bottom edge of this thruster. You'll notice the direction of the fender will change. Now nudge this outward as far as it'll go and place. Place another on the inside edge. Then rotate. Position to the side of the first fender placed and nudge upward as far as it will go. Place another one above that. Then rotate once more and place on top of the previous fender placed. Nudge inward as far as it will go. Then place another on the inside edge of that one. Now come to the back of these medium fenders, get out a small fender, and line it up evenly with the top outside edge medium fender. Nudge it outward as far as it'll go and place. Then place another one below it. Now do the same thing, but this time with large fenders placed on the back of the small fenders. Nudge it outward as far as they'll go and place. Now repeat all of these steps on the other side of the ship. Break off your small thruster and head to the back of the ship for another directional build. Place it somewhere below these floor 3s. Then select the windshield, position your focal point on the base of the thruster as close to the flooring as you can, and nudge your window back as far as it'll go and place. Now let's put on some landing gear. Select the small fender, position it against the bottom of the wide floor 2 base, and nudge it outward and forward until the top of the fender is flush with both corner edges and place it. Place another one next to that. Then place a floor 2 centered beneath these 2 fenders. Nudge it until it's flush with the back and then nudge it backward 1 node and place it. Repeat this for the other side. Now we're going to place one more of these landing gears towards the rear of the ship facing backwards. And it looks like I'm short for flexwood. I'm always a little off on these resources despite my best efforts. Well, let's grab some extra flexwood and then place your landing gear just like the other 2, but this time facing backwards, centered on the middle of the wide floor 2 base and nudged to where the wide floor 2 meets the floor 3. On top of the ship, snap a thin floor 3 to the front of the wide floor 2 and nudge it outward until it's lined up evenly with this medium fender in place. Then place another one next to it, centered on top of the other medium fender. Now repeat this on the other side. The final step of stage 1 is the pilot seat. Place a vehicle base 4 centered and nudged back 1 from the edge, and then place a large driver's seat on top of that. And it looks like we have 3 extra frostpine. I'm not sure what these are for, so I guess I'll put them back in the chest for now. Alright, moving on to the engines. First step is to snap 2 floor 3s to the side of this first thin floor 4 here on the front half of the ship. Then snap 1 floor 3 to the side of the thin floor 4 towards the back half of the ship. Centered beneath the inner floor 3, place 2 floor 2s. Do the same for the back wing. You won't be able to place exactly center, you'll have to nudge it outward 1 node and then place it. Now we can place our large thrusters. Place 1 on the front of the floor 2s, nudged as far inward and upward as it will go. Place another beneath the floor 3 above it, as close to the adjacent thruster as it will go. Now place 2 more large thrusters on the back side of the floor 2s in a similar fashion. Now repeat everything you did for the front left wing on the rear left wing. For the reverse thrusters, select a small thruster and center it on the inside edge of this column of thin floor 1s. Nudge it up as far as it'll go in place. Do the same on the third column. Now repeat everything you just did on the other side as it's a mirror image. forward thrusters, select medium fender and place underneath the floor. Nudge it out so that it's flush with the floor, and nudge it towards the side as far as it'll go and place it. Do the same for the other side. Now get the large thruster out, center it on the back of this thin floor 1 column. Nudge it up as far as it'll go and place, and then place one directly below it. Place another on the bottom of this medium fender as far down as it'll go, and then place one directly above it. The fender does curve a little bit, so you'll actually have to position your focal point on the top half of this fender for it to place. Now repeat these steps on the other side to finish out stage 2. For stage 3, I put storage and lift together because the balloon placement sort of helps with proper spacing of the chest. I'm going to walk you through how to fit 25 grand chest in the cargo hold, but you can really put whatever you want back here. Now place the first chest on the bottom floor here, facing inward, nudged as far back and as far towards the front of the ship as possible. Rotate and place another one directly to the left. Rotate again, placing a chest on the elevated flooring directly behind and facing the same direction as the first chest. Rotate a third time and place directly to its left. Now place a small balloon on the bottom floor, nudged as far back and as close to the adjacent chest as possible. Place 3 more as close together as you can to form a small square. Now repeat this on the elevated floor directly behind the first set of your 4 balloons that you just placed. Now on the back side of these balloons, place 4 more chests, repeating the steps you did earlier but in a mirror image, such that the chest closest to you and the balloons is facing outwards. Now repeat everything you just did on the other side of the ship. You can fit 2 more grand chests on these floor 3s at the rear of the ship. Place them centered, back to back, and as far back as they will go. Now at this point you have 18 grand chests. I'll show you how to fit 7 more, but it will require directional building. If you struggled with directional building up until this point, or you just don't want the extra storage, feel free to skip ahead to stage 4 customizations. Just be warned that you may have to adjust your balloons accordingly for the weight. Now place a small thruster on the ceiling here. Select your chest, and just like before, carefully position your focal point to the edge of the thruster base as close to the ceiling as you can until the chest registers as placeable. You'll place 2 back to back and as far back as you can, just like the ones beneath it. Then place 1 more sideways in front of those 2 that you just placed. Now we'll place 1 right next to the balloons. Because the chest is actually going to connect to these thin floors on the edge here instead of the very top of the ceiling, you'll want to target the thruster a tad lower on the base like this. Then nudge it as close to the balloons and the wall of the ship as it'll go, and place. Now repeat this for each of the other 3 sides of the balloons in a similar fashion. And there you have it, 25 grand chests. Now let's do some customizations. I put some headlights under the ceiling here. I used directional building off the upside down chest to add some uplighting here on the interior. And I now realize what the leftover frostpine was for. I snapped a floor 2 to the side of this floor 3 here, nudged it out and forward one place to have a nice spot for a passenger seat. And I did that for the other side too. Congratulations, you've finished the build. Now let's drop this thing off the jack and configure the thrusters. This is a similar configuration to the OG Stingray. You'll set this inner backside thruster to channel 1 and the adjacent lift thruster to channel 2. Then this forward lift thruster to channel 1 and the inner front side thruster to channel 2. Repeat this for the forward wing as well. Set the 2 reverse thrusters to channel 4. Now do the inverse of everything you just did for the left side on the right side. Except for the reverse thrusters, of course, those remain on channel 4 for both sides. Just like the OG Stingray, channel 3 is your acceleration. Channel 1 turns right. And channel 2 turns left. Channels 1 and 2 together lift you straight up. And the new channel 4 is your reverse thrusters, which also slightly accelerate your descent as well. So, what do you think? Are you going to build the Stingray Heavy? I think this design leaves a lot of room for customization, so I'd love to hear what kind of changes you made down in the comment section below. Let me know what you ended up loading back there. Do not forget to catch the mini-movie after the credits, and until next time, have fun building.
Thai Squadron from 7782, we're here to escort you to the beachhead. Boy, are we glad to see you guys.
Transport spotted with single Thai escort. Permission to engage?
Permission to engage granted. We've got incoming!
Woo! Got him! Wait, man, I'm picking up something on my radar. Whoa, where did he come from? Shake him, I'm hit. I'm going down.